Today at 5, beautiful homes and sunset views. It's one of Southern California's most lavish developments. But some say what's inside this bag is the same thing lurking beneath hundreds of homes.
Are the people that live there now, are they in danger because of this?
It's an enormous danger. The explosion being the big, large thing.
The developers and the city say it's safe. In a Channel 4 News special investigation, Paul Moyer reveals documents never before made public that are raising burning questions. Today at 5, only on the Channel 4 News. Live from NBC4, this is the Channel 4 News at 5.
For the people that are living there now, how much of a danger is there for them?
It's an enormous danger.
A Channel 4 News investigation. What's beneath the ground at one of the most luxurious housing developments in the Southland? Tonight, the potential hot zone, hidden gas, and the burning question it raises. Good evening, everyone. I'm Colleen Williams.
And I'm Paul Moyer. We begin tonight with a Channel 4 News investigation, explosive underground oil gases. Of course, those gases are strewn all throughout Southern California, much of it. After all, we are a land of oil wells. But tonight, an investigation into how one of the most ambitious real estate developments in West Los Angeles, Playa Vista, is handling the challenge. It is a housing development whose first residents will probably number more than 12,000. Fire in the streets. 1985, the Fairfax section of Los Angeles. Leaking fumes from underground oil deposits catch fire and explode through the Ross department store. This lawyer and engineering consultant helped win a lawsuit for the victims. Now Bernard Endres has his sights set on another potential hot zone.
This is the largest gas seepage site that has ever been located anywhere in the United States.
He and environmentalist Patricia McPherson are battling the developers of Playa Vista, a 1,000-acre commercial and residential site in the wetlands near Marina del Rey. They say underground oil gases pose an extreme hazard.
The ground is almost 100% saturated with gas in certain areas.
The entire area was once dotted with oil rigs, and the Hughes aircraft facility spewed toxic chemicals. A commercial gas storage facility, now owned by Southern California Gas, extends underground from the bluffs near Playa Vista to the Marina Peninsula. The wells were capped and buried years ago, though this one still leaks gas in the Bayona Lagoon. Endres says a much larger quantity of gas is seeping into an old riverbed deep under Playa Vista and leaking upwards.
The gas spreads out into a large geographic area.
When the developers first began planning for all of this, Playa Vista, back in the early 1990s, the city commissioned an impact study which acknowledged the presence of flammable methane and toxic BTEX chemicals. But within certain guidelines, it proclaimed the site safe for development.
The 1993 EIR stated there were no shallow zones or pockets of gas that could seep to the surface under the Playa Vista site. None. No gas.
Well, game over.
Game over.
But McPherson and Endres began noticing signs of widespread gas migration. Bubbles in Centinela Creek, which they say tested positive for gas. Bubbles in boat slips in Marina del Rey, which flared when ignited. They also discovered early studies commissioned by the developers, indicating dangerous levels of hydrogen sulfide at the site and widespread gas contamination.
Which was proof positive that they had found oil field gas surfacing all across the Playa Vista site.
Early engineering studies by the city described Playa Vista as, quote, a high-risk area and confirmed hydrogen sulfide and BTEX gases at the site and methane concentrations.
Levels of methane gas that could be explosive.
One state agency became concerned.
Some of the BTEX chemicals are cancer-causing chemicals, known human carcinogens.
Another state agency is accused of looking the other way, at least in the beginning.
It was made clear to me when I joined the PUC that the development was going to happen and that no state agency should stand in the way. It was very clear that the biggest Democratic donors in town were behind that development deal. From my perspective, there was a whole atmosphere of, we don't want to see anything.
In the year 2000, Playa Vista developers spent more money lobbying the city than almost any other company. They also passed out publicity flyers saying there was, quote, little methane at the site. The next year, a city reviewer gave the project a green light.
The city really was not looking at the key health issues that were involved here.
The city said the SoCalGas underground storage facility, quote, is not the source of methane contamination found at the site, a point repeatedly emphasized by Playa Vista and SoCalGas. The report also shrank the methane concentrations and declared the risk from hydrogen sulfide and BTEX to be, quote, insignificant, with no further investigation warranted. Not everybody was convinced.
There was information that we were not provided.
The state's Department of Toxic Substances Control called the city report, quote, incomplete, and faulted participating engineers for running gas tests in clean soil that had been brought in to cover the contamination.
That would obviously not result in an accurate reading.
Walter Merschat, an engineer who took part in the testing, confirms in writing that it was often done in newly laid cover soil known as surcharge, which he says conceals gases and results in inaccurate, lower or non-detectable readings of methane, hydrogen sulfide, and BTEX.
I don't think we were getting correct answers.
As construction continued, the city instructed developers and homeowners to install safety systems to keep the gas in check. But now, with the project half complete, Endres and McPherson have uncovered what they see as evidence that some safety measures are not working.
They've had problems with them, yes.
In fact, a city expert has warned the city council that a series of experimental 50-foot vent wells designed to siphon off gas in the most dangerous high methane areas may not be effective.
The deep vent well will not work properly where you have high water table or you have soil, clay soils or clay sands, which could clog up the deep vent well.
Fire department documents dating from the past year show few gas alarms going off inside the buildings, but various breakdowns in gas monitoring systems, especially at the Fountain Park Apartments. During recent visits there, Endres and McPherson spotted bubbles percolating up through the water-soaked floor of a basement parking structure.
You had that tested, you're sure that was gas?
I took a combustible meter out there. It registered combustible gas coming up.
That means, says Endres, that a membrane shield placed beneath the building is leaking.
The membrane system that was to keep the gas from moving upwards has totally failed.
Another seep.
McPherson and Endres have recently spotted what they say are new gas seeps, including one at Playa Vista itself and another just across the highway in the marshes. The fumes they collected in a plastic bag showed explosive potential.
Wow.
It's an enormous amount of gas surfacing out there.
So for the people that are living there now, that are working there now, that are going there now, and more to come, how much of a danger is there for them?
It's an enormous danger.
Under earthquake conditions, the soil could literally turn to quicksand, providing a chimney for the immediate migration of the gas directly underneath the building.
To get the other side of this story, we asked the new owners of the Fountain Park Apartments to comment on our findings about the bubbles and the faulty monitors. Essex Property Trust, Inc., which recently bought the apartments from Playa Vista, replied, quote, no comment. The city's Building and Safety Department, Playa Vista, and SoCal Gas all declined on-camera interviews. SoCal and Playa, after agreeing to go on camera, offered written comments instead. In summary, much of Playa Vista's response is an attack on McPherson, whose claims they say have, and I quote, been determined time and time again to be false, misleading, and inaccurate, close quote. On the issue of the safety measures, Playa Vista quotes from city reports prepared 4 years ago that, quoting, found the proposed methane mitigation measures are adequate for the Playa Vista development site, close quote. SoCal Gas says, quoting, the storage field remains safe and secure, close quote. And the developers echo that claim, saying, again quoting, the methane at Playa Vista is not from the Southern California gas reservoir. The composition of the gases is different, close quote. On that point, McPherson and Endres have obtained a revealing new confidential study.
The document absolutely, incontrovertibly shows the Southern California Gas Company hasn't been forthright with the public.
It was prepared last November by a division of the PUC, the State Public Utilities Commission, which regulates SoCal Gas. It reveals that engineers working for Playa Vista and the city 6 years ago found gas with the chemical components of SoCal storage gas near the site of the Fountain Park Apartments, which is far from the underground reservoir itself. The author says there is a, quote, greater than 50% probability of the sample being SoCal storage gas. He also says, and I quote, these findings do not indicate any wrongdoing on the part of SoCal Gas, but suggest the existence of a potential safety hazard and the need for further investigation and study.
The PUC knows there's a danger out there. The PUC knows that there's storage gas coming to the surface, knows that there's oil field gas coming to the surface.
What's undeniable is there is gas in the system in this development. Let's figure out who's likely to be harmed and how we should move it. I don't think people want to know the answer.
Most of McPherson's charges have been leveled in lawsuits. She's trying to force the city to do a new impact study about the gas situation at Playa Vista. So far, she has lost 2 lawsuits, and one of those decisions is up for appeal. The city and Playa Vista both claim in court there is nothing new to be studied. But McPherson believes the information revealed in tonight's broadcast may finally prompt a second look at what she sees as new dangers at that site. You can also see this story on our website, including the full statement from Southern California Gas and Playa Vista Development. Just log on to www.nbc4.tv.